Good evening. Welcome to the Camnet TV main news. To present it, my name is Marco Kwakozi. First, we take a look at the stories making the headlines. Overflowing sewer system causes havoc in Lusaka's central business district. ZESCO given a 10-day ultimatum to disclose criteria used to shortlist security companies. DPP seeks permission to take possession of the 15 flats belonging to ESTHER LUNGU. In international news, Danish leaders in joint visit to South Africa. And in sports news, NKANA handed a season-long ban for violent behavior. For details of these and other stories, join us shortly after this break.
The Ukusefya Bangwena Organizing Committee proudly present Legacy on the Greens, a prestigious golf tournament commemorating the 10th anniversary of Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's reign. Join us as we tee off with Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II on the 23rd of June at the exquisite Bonanza Golf Course in Lusaka, Zambia, for a day of elegance, camaraderie, and regal competition. Legacy on the Greens, celebrating Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's 10th anniversary on the throne. Don't miss this regal affair. Reserve your place today.
Welcome back, and now the news in detail. An 81-year-old woman of Lusaka's Kalikiliki compound has expressed fear of turning into a destitute following the death of her child, who was the breadwinner. Rosemary Mwale tells Camnet News that she has been left with one child who is blind and equally needs to be taken care of. Ms. Mwale says she has nowhere to turn to for help, adding that she fears for the worst. Meanwhile, Families Are Nations FAN President Judith Mwila has called for the promotion of family bonds, stating that extended families should normalize taking care of their relatives, especially the aged. We have details in the following reports.
This is Rosemary Mwale, an 81-year-old woman of Kalikiliki compound in Lusaka, who is currently working as a caretaker but has nowhere to go once the house owners complete construction. Ms. Mwale explains that she has been left destitute in her old age, as she is left with one son who is a person with blindness, following the death of her other child who took care of her.
Vanishunga kusonga tivasirizo manga vene isepano lomba paipa tafumapo mwana ni wamino yomozi ine na utisaya angana menali kumunirunga ndikwana sizira shukuru monga amene aya vampofu yaja kuti mufikira mafataleza yopasa ore maranza ngati vabwera fataleza ulongati ntundalama nduchani pamapasa vanzao so paliwo vathandizira futi.
Camnet News also spoke to Families and Nations President Judith Mwila, who has bemoaned the breakdown of family bonds in the nation.
This is a very sad story indeed, in a country where people live in communities, but first of all, the most important community being the family unit. If this woman has got brothers and sisters, or even cousins, uncles, aunties, all those, they are part of her family. I think that the purpose of having family is to get support and to receive help when one needs it. The story of this woman shows us that, you know, she's suffering terribly, especially with a child who is disabled. She has to give extra care, and this child needs special care. Herself also in her old age requires care. But what we see is actually a very, very sad story of abandonment, neglect, no love at all. And I just want to urge families out there that let us take the responsibility that we have to over each other.
The old woman now hopes to be relocated to an old people's home or any other similar facility where food and shelter will be assured. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Traders at Peppel Branch Market in Lusaka have alleged that the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development has failed to address the challenge of the overflowing sewer, which is posing a serious health risk to them. Some traders spoken to have complained that their businesses have been negatively affected due to the sewer, adding that the Ministry of Local Government and the Lusaka City Council have on several occasions visited the area but not provided any solutions. Meanwhile, Market Youth Chairman Nyabinda Piri has called on government to consider engaging a Chinese company to work on the entire sewer line in the market. We have details in the following reports.
For once, one may mistake this to a broken water pipe, but alas, it is an overflowing sewer system that has become a new normal for over 50 businesses and shops at Peppel Branch in Lusaka Central Business District near Munyaule Market. For over 6 years, this sewer has been overflowing in this part of the Central Business District because some shops have allegedly been built on top of the sewer line, which has now resulted in the overflow of the sewer. Some of the street vendors spoken to have complained that they have continued to trade under very difficult circumstances because they have no other trading spaces, hence calling on the government to urgently address the situation before a life can be lost due to the risk that comes with sewer.
Papiwa pamena pauti bajumbe baendeko bakakwereko mabasi chifukwa cha suwa ero manje vimanzi vikangena manje matuvu peza yasalirira tiama mbota pamanzi kwamba ogula manzi enangu futi kutila manje kukwesha na safu kuti suwa ingene uti tinkaleko bwino uti tiguliseko bwino awe tavutika na suwa iyi government tianganireko twapenga matuza yazwa
mwe bantu everyday kula fuma fyeru chero echungulo tuli affected tatuletanzika tatueshisha bwino ma customers bale butuka bale tino kusa mukushita ngamwalolesha konso kukulifya amasuwa amasoso kwamba last week this week ile fuma fye fifine takuli kutanzika kubutuka mwafiro kutanzika esa mulona ishile mu 2020 na lisa nge fifine suwa nishira fuma fye fifine bala pitali mwa tusonkesha kwa mpia sio tusange solution basi tapadi file chitika tuachura mwanjini so hapa kuchero kuisa olo watantula bwangu bantu nga waisa ruchero wasanga suwa na ingira ponsa hapa tapala hapa kutanzika wambo kufanya menshi muitirepo ichungula nga afika 16 futi fyambo kufumanisha wambo kutantola 16 hours zero ba customer besa ku.
Meanwhile, Market Youth Chairman Nyabinda Piri says the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Garin Kombo, had visited the area before and is very much aware of the situation, yet no urgent solution has been communicated.
Suwa yamene yana boka yamene siya pezeka solution na nkwaboreka kwa local government yamene siya peza solution wabwera ma local government pana solution stima yona because disease ichoka muri yamene ya masuwa because bantu bapezeka pa press yamene ichosa masuwa so disease imachoka muri yamene ya masuwa.
He has since called on the office of the Vice President under the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit DMMU to treat the matter as an urgent public emergency in order to find a lasting solution to the problem.
Tingafune kwa bati ama Chinese aba wakaunda square waisa mkutubombera ko maybe private company yamenenga kwanise ko kusebenza yakwe bati yabore yako yachitako challenge amasuwa yali pano because trading place yamene tili nayo pano ni pamene paselenzera bantu. So trading price peze kafuti ichosa matuvi, which means wantu wazangara affect na matuvi yamene yachoka msuwa. Hii suwa yankara almost 10 years. Government wamabwera local government kuboro checking aswa machitapo very once. So that's why nakamba kwa maybe ma Chinese wamene wanapezeka ku Kaunda Square wanasenzera ku Kaunda Square yako ati masuwa yasi ya kuchoka.
Meanwhile, The Lusaka City Council Public Health Department is yet to respond to this matter, while trading under very difficult circumstances continues for these Lusaka businesses. Prudence Chota reporting for NKANA TV News.
Some private security companies have given ZESCO a 10 days ultimatum to disclose the criteria they used to select the shortlisted security companies to offer security services at the power utility. Addressing the media in Lusaka Tuesday, Association President Francis Mukuka says if he does not get feedback within 10 days, the association will go to court and put an injunction on the selection process. Mr. Mukuka further alleges that ZESCO conducted the tender selection where it nominated and awarded tenders to non-security companies such as bus operators, suppliers, business entities, and other business houses, but not security companies. And Mr. Mukuka has further urged members to contribute positively to ensure that the shortlisted companies are not awarded the contracts.
To have answers from ZESCO within the 10 given grace period by PPZ Act, so that if we are not given a proper answer, definitely we'll go to court and put an injunction to make a stop to those who are shortlisted. And this is what we want to do as Private Security Companies Association. We still have people in these institutions who are also trying to bring the UPND party unpopular. There are those that are not caring. There are those that are not trying to help the Republican president. There are those that are also want who have also jumped in a bad wagon to be in this position to make money and try to pick those wako system. We are not going to fold our arms as private security companies, because all our security affiliated company has been left out. So we wonder which companies they take. If you look at the list, they are not security companies. So we as security companies, our step, if they don't give us an answer within the 10 days, we are going to court and put an injunction, and we'll make a stop to this shortlisted companies that have been given by ZESCO. We urge the Minister of Energy, also the SEC, to investigate. We are urging the SEC not to only to concentrate on politicians. Corruption is everywhere. Let them also go to ZESCO. We caught them when they were bidding, when they were submitting these tenders. We could know that there was something fishy. We caught them, they didn't come. And now they are quiet. We are urging them to start investigating these people who are in charge of shortlisting companies at ZESCO.
The Local Government Service Commission has been on the high levels of pilferage in local councils in the country. Commission Chairperson Axon Sejani says this has led to underperformance of the authorities in providing services. Mr. Sejani says the Commission has since introduced performance appraisal system in the utilization of the Constituency Development Fund (CDF) by the local authorities, adding that this will be a catalyst to changing the work attitude of council officers.
While controversy continues to surround local councils in the country, the Local Government Service Commission has disclosed that about 10 people are fired every month on average by the Commission from councils across the country for fraudulent activities. Speaking to journalists Tuesday, 20th June 2023, Commission Chairperson Axon Sejani says unmitigated pilferage of revenue by some officers in the local authorities is depriving the councils the much-needed revenue, resulting in non-payment of workers. The chairperson says the Commission is working towards addressing factors contributing to the non-payment of council workers.
Perhaps the top management are not doing their job to ensure that we enhance on revenue collection. we put in measures that enhances revenue collection. Why are we still digitizing? Why can't we digitize? Why are we still handling cash in this day and age? What is it? Why are we resisting to digitize? Is it because some people got vested interest? We are literally firing, 10 people every month because of...
Mr. Sejen says the Commission has come up with the annual appraisal assessment form to include the utilization of the Constituency Development Fund CDF component. The annual appraisal assessment has been reduced from 1 year to 6 months to ensure the effective implementation of projects. The chairperson has challenged all principal officers in the council countrywide to ensure no underperformance of council workers or risk sanctions.
We must begin to de-emphasize reliance on local government equalization fund. We must emphasize revenue that we collect from within. And a town like Lusaka, if you fail, whatever the cause of the failure is, if there's no justifiable reason.
Meanwhile, Mr. Sejen has challenged the Lusaka City Council to submit its proposals on how it will restore sanity in the Central Business District.
What sort of work plans has Lusaka City Council deposited with the council in terms of revenue collection, in terms of keeping Lusaka clean? What is your target in the next 6 months? You have to say it. In the next 6 months, there will be that heap at this Michael Santa or BH market. That heap will be removed. That lack of sewage will have been sorted out in 6 months. Deposited in the cemetery.
While the annual appraisal assessment for councils is progressive, one hopes it will be effectively implemented in addressing the poor performance of councils in the country. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Eastern Province Acting Permanent Secretary Beauty Piri says the number of people applying for school bursaries under the Constituency Development Fund (CDF) has dropped significantly in Kasanengwa as compared to other parts of the province. Ms. Piri says parents in Kasanengwa have opted to sending their girl children into early marriages while boys are sent to take care of cattle. Meanwhile, a child rights activist, LUSAKA'S, has called for more sensitization on the dangers of not taking children to school. Here's a report.
Zambia's Eastern Province has been making headlines in the recent years due to the high number of teenage pregnancies that have been prevailing in the province. In the first half of the year 2021, Eastern Province made alarming headlines when 12,000 teenage girls were recorded as having been impregnated in a period of 6 months. This has, however, been causing a regression in education, especially for the girl child. With the enhancement of the free education policy under the current administration and the introduction of school bursaries under the Constituency Development Fund, Eastern Province Acting Permanent Secretary Beauty Piri says some areas have improved, while others like Kasanengwa District are still problematic.
I think even under the bursaries, you'll see the numbers that Kasanengwa is reducing on numbers, and others have got high numbers of those that are going on to school on bursaries. But we have been engaging their Royal Highnesses to ensure that these kids are gotten back to school, to reduce on early marriages, and also to just increase on the literacy levels. And not only that, I think there's a point of there's money that comes under CDF on sensitizations that have been taken. People are going around to do sensitization. My appeal to parents that are still holding on to the children and taking them to go and get married early, and those that are giving their children to go and tend for the animals, is that kindly let's take our children back. Because if these children stay in the compounds,
stakeholders advocating for gender equality have also voiced out on the happenings.
Maybe we need a law that will compel such kind of parents who send their children to school because the government has provided for a facility for free for everyone to go to school. Why are the parents not sending their children to school? Because they are curtailing their future life. Herding cattle is not adding value to the children who are withdrawn from school.
I mean, when a girl is forced into a marriage, she's subjected to so many things. She's subjected to emotional abuse, and the childhood will forever be violated, which also will have an effect when the girl has grown. She'll not be able to be as productive as she could have been had she gone through education. So it causes serious damage on the well-being of both girls and boys if they do not go to school. And so it's important that the girls and boys take advantage of these things and go to school, get educated. I mean, education strengthens economies and also helps in reducing inequality. We're fighting inequality right now as a country. And if a lot of people are educated, it will help reduce this, as though both girls and boys will be able to put in equal effort in developing this nation.
They have called for massive sensitization if gender equality is to be attained by 2030. Zipporah Mshala reporting for Camnet TV News.
Renowned Lusaka lawyer Jonas Zimba has described attempts by the Anti-Corruption Commission to arrest him on unknown charges as unfortunate. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Zimba says the commission should follow the due process of the law, unlike attempting to illegally arrest him. He says his attempted arrest comes in the wake of him representing opposition Patriotic Front officials in various court cases. We have details in the following report.
Those in the rules of authority, restoring the rule of law is part and parcel of driving the country's agenda, but renowned Lusaka-based lawyer Jonas Zimba says attempting to arrest citizens for unknown reasons is nonsense. This comes in the wake of reports that the Anti-Corruption Commission officers are after Counsel Zimba. The lawyer firmly believes the commission should follow the due process of the law, unlike attempting to illegally arrest him.
That yesterday, and I heard that the intention was that they would ambush me at court and then they would pick me up. First of all, that is some form of intimidation that they want to put across. And I'll also tell you that, we exist for the good of the people. You can't come and begin to intimidate lawyers and expect that you'll be perpetrating justice. This is the thing I talk about. People are saying that they are applying the rule of law. Which rule of law? What they are doing here is, these are jungle tricks. If you are really interested in getting me to SEC and you want to inquire about something, why not call me by way of a call out? You want to send officers there. I saw officers standing there waiting for me, even people from there asking about me and all those things. What is it that they want?
Counsel Zimba is among the defense lawyers that are handling cases of the opposition Patriotic Front officials such as Godfrey Walyamwamba, Raphael Nakachinda, Emmanuel Mwamba, among others. Reports suggest that Counsel Zimba is being targeted for arrest by the Anti-Corruption Commission for allegedly frustrating their work during court sessions.
This is arising from a matter that is active before court. It's the matter involving the people versus Geoffrey Walyamwamba. It's just the practice of law. I mean, at the end of the day, we are trying to pursue the ends of justice. So this is unacceptable, it's nonsensical, and anyone that is doing this must be condemned with the contempt that they actually.
Meanwhile, when reached for a comment, the anti-corruption requested for a press query which has not been responded to. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, has asked the Economic and Financial Crimes High Court Division to grant it permission to take possession of the 15 flats located in Lusaka's State Lodge area that belong to the former First Lady Esther Lungu, as they are deemed to be proceeds of crime. In an affidavit filed by Emmanuel Kondoe, a senior investigations officer, the said flats need to be forfeited to the state because the properties are reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime.
The state seeks to take possession of the 15 flats located in Lusaka State Lodge area belonging to the former First Lady, Esther Lungu. According to a notice of motion, the Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, has requested the Specialized Economic and Financial Crimes High Court Division to grant the state permission that will allow the said properties to be forfeited to the state as they are deemed to be proceeds of crime. In an affidavit filed by Emmanuel Nkondwe, a senior investigations officer, he alleges that the said 15 flats that belong to the former lady are deemed to be proceeds of crime as there is no income to justify the estimated value of construction. On the 26th of July 2022, the former First Lady was summoned at DEC offices for questioning in relation to the said properties. This was following the move by the Commission on the 1st of July 2022 to repossess the properties for allegedly being proceeds of crime. According to Mr. Kondwe, who operates under the anti-money laundering investigations at DEC, states that in May 2022, the Commission got a tip that there was property in State Lodge area suspected to be proceeds of crime, and after investigation, it was discovered that the properties belonged to the former First Lady. Submissions before court has also revealed that further investigation by the senior DEC investigations officer established that the property cost over 41 million kwacha. Mr. Kondwe says during his investigations, he conducted an analysis of a non-income and non-expenditure for the period of 1st August 2012 to the 16th of August 2022. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Government has challenged the decision by the Constitutional Court Judge Martin Musaluke to stay the criminal proceedings before the Lusaka Magistrate Court involving former Konkola Copper Mines Provisional Liquidator Milingo Lungu in a case he is accused of possessing property suspected to be proceeds of crime. Attorney General Muliro Kabesha, who has filed a notice of motion to reverse the said ruling, claims he is dissatisfied with the court ruling dated 19th May 2022. This is in a case in which Mr. Lungu has dragged the government to the Constitutional Court seeking an order that his purported arrest is an abuse of criminal proceedings because he was given immunity. Details in the following report.
Has filed another notice of motion before the Constitutional Court challenging the decision by a single judge to stay criminal proceedings before the Lusaka Magistrate Court involving former Konkola Copper Mines Provisional Liquidator Milingo Lungu in a case is accused of possessing property suspected of being proceeds of crime. Attorney General Muliro Kabesha, who has filed again a notice of motion to reverse the said ruling, claims he is unsatisfied with the court ruling dated the 19th of May 2022. This is in a case in which Mr. Lungu has dragged the government to the Constitutional Court seeking an order that his purported arrest is an abuse of criminal proceedings because he was given immunity. In 2022, Constitutional Court Judge Martin Masaluke stayed criminal proceedings that Mr. Milingo Lungu is facing before the Lusaka Magistrate Court until a determination of his case before the Superior Court. However, in its notice of motion to reverse the said ruling, the government argues that the Constitutional Court does not have the requisite jurisdiction to stay criminal proceedings. In this petition, Mr. Lungu further wants the court to quash the DEC decision to charge and arrest him on April 7, 2022 for possession of property reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime. In his previous submission, he stated that he made a deal with the state to be given immunity and it was made in the public and state interest to secure a critical national asset from ruin, and the loss as no payment would be honored by the bank on account that the official receiver who had purported to take over the running of KCM had no legal mandate to manage and administer KCM. Mr. Lungu, who claims that he was given immunity by the former Director of Public Prosecution, Lillian Siuni, stated that the same was done to enable him to provide critical information to the auditor without running the risk of self-incrimination, and also to reconcile the statement of account between KCM and him made on understanding that the matter was of a civil and not criminal nature. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Law Association of Zambia LAS has dragged Chaminuka Lodge to the Lusaka High Court demanding a payment of 117,045 kwacha, according to a statement of claim on the 29th of July 2022. LAS booked for accommodation at the said lodge as it was to host a workshop. LAS claims that it later made a payment of a sum of 117,045 kwacha through a bank transaction to the lodge, but was later informed that the lodge has been booked. LAS further submitted that the lodge agreed to refund back the money, which it has neglected to do so. The plaintiff now seeks a refund, interest, and any other relief deemed fit. On that note, we take our first break, but still ahead we have more news. Don't go away.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
The FARS 2022-2023 season is over, and the 2023-2024 season is around the corner. Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is looking for young talented football players from across Zambia, aged between 16 and 23 years old. Camnet soccer trials will be held on the 30th of June and the 1st of July 2023 in Lusaka at 09 hours. The venue is Kabulonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Your skills could earn you a place in the world of soccer greats in Zambia and the world. Camnet Stars Football Club, the local national team, is a team born for greatness with visionary players. Let us join hands and contribute to high levels of Zambian football standards. Don't miss these trials. The future of Zambian soccer is dependent on you. Make a date with us. Remember, you are born for greatness. See you there.
The Ukusefya Bangwena Organizing Committee proudly present Legacy on the Greens, a prestigious golf tournament commemorating the 10th anniversary of Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's reign. Join us as we tee off with Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II on the 23rd of June at the exquisite Bonanza Golf Course in Lusaka, Zambia, for a day of elegance, camaraderie, and regal competition. Legacy on the Greens, celebrating Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's 10th anniversary on the throne. Don't miss this regal affair. Reserve your place today.
Welcome back. You are still watching the main news on Camnet TV, and now for other stories. Central Province Minister Credo Nanjua says Central Province has continued to attract a number of investors, of Chinese investors rather, in the mining and mineral processing, agriculture and agro-processing, as well as manufacturing. Mr. Nanjua says despite having low access to energy, particularly electricity in rural areas, investments in the sector is still low, and many of the people, particularly in remote districts, have no access to electricity. Speaking during the seminar on China-Zambia Energy Corporation in Lusaka Tuesday, Mr. Nanjua says Central Province is probably unique to Chinese investments in many aspects. And Chinese ambassador to Zambia, Du Shikho, says China has always been an ideal and reliable cooperative partner of Zambia in the field of energy.
China has always been an ideal and reliable cooperative partner of Zambia in the field of energy. In last March, with a high attention from the two heads of state, the Kafue Gorge Lower Hydro Power Station project was fully completed. It is a flagship project of China-Zambia Belt and Road Corporation and the largest infrastructure project in Zambia in the past 40 years. The total installed capacity of 750 plus 12 megawatts in 5 generating units has brought more than 5 billion kilowatt hours of power generation to Zambia.
I wish to express my excitement on this event as it provides my government, through my ministry, an opportunity to propose a new investment. Further, the event provides for consolidated efforts between our two countries in flourishing investment and technology transfer for increased access to sustainable energy, both for the country and indeed the sub-region. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, government, through my ministry, has pursued a robust energy policy towards attaining increased access.
Central Province has continued to attract increased Chinese investors in mining and mineral processing, agriculture and agro-processing, as well as manufacturing. Despite having low access to energy, particularly electricity in rural areas, investment in the energy sector is still low, and many of our people in Central Province, particularly in remote districts, have little or no access to electricity.
Itazitesi Member of Parliament Twambo Mutinta has raised a concern on a matter of public urgency to address the erratic supply of water in Itazitesi district. Mr. Mutinta submits that the water crisis has severely affected operations in the district. He says the district has had no water for the past 5 days now. Mr. Mutinta further called on the Ministry of Water and Sanitation to intervene in the matter, as Lukanga Water and Sewerage Company has failed to help the residents.
And this matter is directed at the Minister of Water, Sanitation and Development. Madam Speaker, it's now 5 days. The people of Itezes have got no running water in the urban district, despite them sitting just miles away from one of the largest water bodies. As I speak, Madam Speaker, we've registered about 12 cases of scabies in the nearest urban clinic. And some of the schools are at the verge of being closed, including the clinic. Madam Speaker, the water utility company, Lukanga, which supplies water to Itezes, they are not saying anything. And the people in Itezes, they are almost protesting, Madam Speaker, because they don't have a reason why there's no water for 5 days. Madam Speaker, I ask that the minister guide on what the way forward is with regard to this crisis that the people of ETSS are being subjected to. Thank you.
So you can put in a question, Honorable Member for Iteshi, but in the meantime, my advice would be to engage the minister responsible for water so that the water situation can be addressed urgently than to wait for the ministerial statement, which maybe will be made on Friday. In the meantime, people are suffering from shortage of water.
British High Commissioner to Zambia, Nicholas Woolley, is confident that Zambia will have its debt restructured soon. Zambia has struggled to find a relief deal with creditors to whom it owes an estimated 18.6 billion United States dollars since it became the first African country unable to repay its foreign debt in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. It sought help to restructure its debt through a G20 mechanism, which is co-chaired by France and China, but its implementation has been slow. And the British envoy hopes that the debt will be restructured for Zambia to effectively implement the International Monetary Fund (IMF) program.
It remains as it has been for many months now. We are an official creditor to Zambia. We are involved with other official creditors within the committee, and we hope that as soon as possible there can be an agreement on a restructure that will allow Zambia to move forward economically with its important, vital reforms that the government has laid out in its IMF-backed program, and of course to bring in the much-needed investment into the country that will allow for greater economic growth, including to the most vulnerable parts of society, growth that will include new jobs and new livelihoods.
The Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZEMA, has approved one of the biggest agro-processing plants in Kawambwa district of Luapula province. The construction of a rice and sunflower cooking oil processing project was approved at the 8th sitting of the Environmental Assessment Committee (EAC) of the Board of the Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZEMA. ZEMA Acting Director General Maxwell Nkoya says the construction of a sunflower cooking oil and rice processing project by Agripreneur Foundation Limited will be done at a total cost of over 4 million kwacha. Mr. Nkoya says Agripreneur Foundation Limited will produce virgin vegetable oil and processed rice whose raw materials will be purchased from local farmers through the Outgrower Scheme program.
Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZEMA, has approved one of the biggest agro-processing plants in Kawambwa district of Luapula province. The construction of a rice and sunflower cooking oil processing project was approved at the 80th sitting of the Environmental Assessment Committee of the ZEMA board. The construction of this sunflower as well as rice processing project by Agripreneur Foundation will be done at a total cost of 4.2 million kwacha. This contributes significantly to the country's GDP, which is currently sitting at 10%, and the setting up of this manufacturing project will contribute significantly to the increase in the GDP by the manufacturing and processing sector. We may also want to indicate that environmental impact assessments are approved via the Environmental Assessment Committee of the ZEMA board, and this is done after thorough consultation as well as review of the submitted environmental impact assessment reports in accordance with the Environmental Management Act, as well as the Environmental Impact Assessment Regulations number 28 of 1997.
A concerned citizen, Edwin Zulu, has called for the strengthening of the African Union, stating that one of its core purposes is promoting unity. Speaking to Camnet News, Mr. Zulu says it is not advisable for African presidents to occupy themselves with functions of the AU as opposed to dealing with the problems affecting their countries, among them issues surrounding the cost of living and economic stability. Mr. Zulu was referring to the recent mission where 7 African countries, Zambia included, visited the presidents of Russia and Ukraine in an effort to end the ongoing war.
We need to know there is no discussion of the Ukraine-Russia war without the involvement of America, because America is the guy who is funding this war. So you should also not, America has done a lot of investments in Ukraine, including the current president himself and his family. They have a lot of interest in Ukraine. Those issues, if they've been a keen follower of the American politics, you should be able to know that there are a lot of things that have been going around. So it's important that we focus on issues that makes value to our countries, and also first important to Africa. And also very important that the issue, it's time that Africa created its own resilient economy or economies. We shouldn't be a country or a continent that whenever there is a problem somewhere, then we're affected.
On that note, we take another set of commercials, but still ahead we have international and sports news. Don't go away.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
The Ukusefya Bangwena Organizing Committee proudly present Legacy on the Greens, a prestigious golf tournament commemorating the 10th anniversary of Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's reign. Join us as we tee off with Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II on the 23rd of June at the exquisite Bonanza Golf Course in Lusaka, Zambia, for a day of elegance, camaraderie, and regal competition. Legacy on the Greens, celebrating Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's 10th anniversary on the throne. Don't miss this regal affair. Reserve your place today.
The FAR's 2022-2023 season is over, and the 2023-2024 season is around the corner. Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is looking for young talented football players from across Zambia, aged between 16 and 23 years old. Camnet soccer trials will be held on the 30th of June and the 1st of July 2023 in Lusaka at 09 hours. The venue is Kabulonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Your skills could earn you a place in the world of soccer greats in Zambia and the world. Camnet Stars Football Club, the local national team, is a team born for greatness with visionary players. Let us join hands and contribute to high levels of Zambian football standards. Don't miss these trials. The future of Zambian soccer is dependent on you. Make a date with us. Remember, you are born for greatness. See you there.
And now in international news, President Cyril Ramaphosa on Tuesday received leaders of the Netherlands and Denmark who are in South Africa on a joint working visit. The visit by Prime Minister Mark Rutte and his Danish counterpart Matt Frederiksen is aimed at solidifying the three countries' relationship in the areas of green hydrogen, renewable energy and a just energy transition, South Africa's public broadcaster SABC reported. South Africa and the Netherlands will sign a memorandum of understanding on cooperation on green hydrogen. The European leaders brought with them large business delegations.
President Cyril Ramaphosa on Tuesday received the leaders of the Netherlands and Denmark who are in South Africa on a joint working visit. The visit is aimed at solidifying the three countries' relationship in the areas of green hydrogen, renewable energy and just energy transition, South Africa's public broadcaster SABC reported. South Africa and the Netherlands will sign a memorandum of understanding on cooperation on green hydrogen. The European leaders took with them large business delegations. A business forum under the theme Green Energy Transition and Green Hydrogen Partnerships for Impact will focus on key areas in green energy and green hydrogen. Keen to break their dependence on Russian energy, European countries have been looking to their African counterparts to fill the gap.
She's here already.
Following last week's visit by African heads of state to Ukraine and Russia, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa on Monday hailed the mission to broker peace as historic. In a visit to South Africa, French Minister of Foreign Affairs Catherine Colonna reacted to the peace effort. From our point of view, any peace effort is positive if it aims to restore the principles of the UN Charter. These principles have been attacked and undermined, but I must say attacked by Russia's decision to invade Ukraine. As you know, these principles are the independence of states, sovereignty, the right to self-defense and territorial integrity. These are also the principles that I think President Ramaphosa cited when he had the opportunity to speak 2 days ago about the mission he led with a number of other African heads of state.
Мирного урегулирования конфликтов, формирование более справедливым уважением относится к принципиальной позиции африканских государств в пользу.
Final days of campaign in Sierra Leone. The main opposition candidate to the 2023 presidential election held a rally in the rural outskirts of the capital on Monday. The convoy of Samura Kamara, the leader of the All People's Congress, made a stop in Grafton. To a cheering crowd, the politician, who came second in the 2018 election, said he wanted to reach across tribal lines. We all are Sierra Leoneans. Don't let anyone confuse you with tribes. Don't let anyone fool you about the region you're from. Don't let anyone fool you with gun matters. No, our rights are our rights. 13 people are vying for the top job, but Saturday's election is expected to be a two-horse race between Kamara and incumbent President Bio. Over 3 million people are registered to vote.
And now in sports news, the Football Association of Zambia FAZ has banned NKANA Football Club from playing home matches at their favored NKANA Stadium in Kitwe's Busakire area for the 2023-2024 season. The ban has been imposed following crowd trouble that ensued during the Kitwe Derby at Arthur Davis Stadium in April of 2023. The FAZ disciplinary committee has ordered that NKANA's home matches be played 60 kilometers away from Kitwe. This means that NKANA will have to find a new home stadium for the upcoming season. The disciplinary committee has also handed Nchanga Rangers Football Club a 50,000 kwacha charge for a violent incident that saw Power Dynamo's midfielder Joshua Mutale stoned during the Week 30 match between the Chingola-based side and Power Dynamos. Nchanga Rangers pleaded for leniency and disclosed that they had made some effort to double up security after the incident. In athletics, athletes participating at the Africa Beach Games in Tunisia have left the country. The first group, comprising of Tekbo team, departed Tuesday afternoon, while the remaining athletes, comprising handball team and badminton, are expected to leave at a later time. And NOCZ Secretary General Boniface Kambikambi says NOCZ partnered with the government to support the three teams and have Zambia represented at the tournament. Mr. Kambikambi has since appealed to the athletes to remain disciplined both on the field and off the field, to give a motivation to others to participate in the tournament. Meanwhile, tagbo player Natasha Nanyangwe says she is excited to be part of the team that will be participating at the tournament and is hopeful to come back with a medal.
The first event was the first African Beach Games, had very few sport courts, and at that time Zambia sent only one sport court, which is freestyle. And this time around there's a lot more sports courts, but out of that Zambia is going to be sending 4. And our choice of sending the particular sports courts to this competition was based on the qualification. So there's World Beach Games happening towards the end of this year in August in Bali. And handball, badminton, and volleyball are actually qualifiers to the World Beach Games. So our expectation is that we need these teams to make it to the next games. It's the first time they're going to go out, so it will be the first time for many other countries as well. So the opportunity is equal to everybody else.
As Tekbo team, I will tell some of my fellow Zambians that what they should expect from us. They should expect a win, and they should expect a trophy from us as Tekbo players.
Well, on that sporting note, we come to the end of our main news, but before we go, another look at the stories that made the headlines. Overflowing sewer system causes havoc in Lusaka's Central Business District. ZESCO given a 10-day ultimatum to disclose criteria used to shortlist security companies. DPP seeks permission to take possession of the 15 flats belonging to ESTHER, LUNGU. In international news, Dutch and Danish leaders in joint visit to South Africa. And in sports news, NKANA handed a season-long ban for violent behavior. And now we take a look at the Camnet verse of the day, coming from the book of John, chapter 16, verse 33. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. That's it. That's all we had for the news at 19:30. Don't forget to join us for another bulletin at 22. On behalf of the entire production team, have a blessed night.